Hi friends, the topic that I wanted to discuss in this video was about finding a problem to solve. As as you might know or you might be unaware, for a business to be really successful, the foundation pillar of that is finding a problem big enough, a big problem to solve. I think most entrepreneurs, probably 99% of people, struggle on this, including me. In the beginning, I had no idea, absolutely, why this topic is so important. Coming from a technical background as a technical founder, I was always obsessed with making a perfect solution all the time. Because I'm an engineer, I am solution centric. I try to make, I probably also over engineer to come up with an extremely perfect solution, and I'm obsessed with the solution that I completely miss the picture that I am actually solving a problem. But really, what you have to be passionate about is the problem that you're solving. This is like a base foundation pillar. If you miss this, the business will 100% fail. Absolutely, I can guarantee. In the beginning, I was really like, I started with just an idea. So, in my case, I was really passionate about influencer marketing. Why? Because in my previous job, I saw that influencer marketing was being used as a major pillar, foundation pillar for marketing. People were the company that I worked for was a consumer tech company, and influencer marketing was absolutely important pillar for building a brand awareness. And so they were using influencers, they were using videos. I got addicted to this. I got really interested and passionate about that area. I had no knowledge. I started exploring that area, and that's how I ended up building a video marketing company or influencer marketing company. So, as you can see, because I'm a technical founder and I'm more obsessed with coding than talking to customers and figuring out their problem, I had this idea to build a video commerce marketplace. And that was I started with just an idea, and that's really a wrong foot to start a company, right? I thought that I thought that the right way to sell product is actually through videos from people like influencers, right? Because logically thinking, videos are the best way to tell the story of any product to any customer. And if that comes from the mouth of an influencer who has more who's considered to be an expert by others, then the products are supposed to sell better. And when I was starting, actually this was in a nascent stage. The influencer marketing and the video marketing space was completely in a nascent stage, that I started with extremely high conviction that this thing should exist. And at that time there was no video shopping marketplaces, and I started believing that this thing should really exist. The point that I missed there, looking back now, is I should have started with a demand side problem actually. And the so as you can see, I started with the wrong foot. And so it took me a while actually to come to the conclusion that I really had to focus on the problem in the beginning, because we straight went into the video commerce marketplace idea, producing over thousands of videos, and we had over 400 brands on the platform. But we totally missed the point that we should have started on the demand side of the marketplace with the real problem the customer is facing. I came to know about this very, very late actually. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to share this with you. Whenever you're starting a business, you need to start with a specific problem. And that problem, you need to have first hand experience. Either you need to have first hand experience, or you need to be solving for someone who you really know, who you can interact on a daily basis. This is the fundamental. If you miss this fundamental, then absolutely the business will fail. There's no doubt about it. In my next video, I am also talking about another parameter, which is when you fix the problem and if you're solving for yourself, that's the best thing to have. You should also be thinking about the validation of that problem, and you should also be thinking about how big this problem is. When I say how big, it's really the market opportunity behind that problem. In my case, I was really focusing on solving for small independent brands, which was quite a big market in the US at that time. There were hundreds of thousands of small independent brands who were only using wholesale as a distribution channel, and I was envisioning that all these brands would sell using videos through my own marketplace. But as you know, a marketplace has multiple sides. It's not only brands, right? There is also consumers, and there are influencers who are also producing the videos. So essentially, you are really in a war zone, actually, solving for 3 different customer types. So it's quite a difficult thing to solve. That becomes like a challenging business to build, you know. So the ideal scenario is you start with like one customer type, and that customer type you know really well, either that's you or someone who you really know. The second thing is you need to think about what kind of business I'm going to build by solving this problem in the next 5 to 10 years. That's typically the life cycle of startups, right? So will I end up building a big consumer tech product, or will I end up building a big business to business product? When I say consumer tech product, there are so many examples, right? Airbnb is a big example of a consumer tech product. You know, hundreds and hundreds of brands out there are all examples of consumer tech products. These are like products that are useful for normal consumers just like me and you. The other set of product ideas are around business to business products, whether we are solving for a company. And there is no right or wrong, actually. Consumer tech products also have a very big market. B2B or business to business products also have a very big market. So irrespective of you're solving for a consumer or a business, the point here is you should be, if you're solving for a consumer, you should be that consumer, or you should know a consumer very, very well. The second thing is, if you're solving for a business, then you should be a decision maker, a key decision maker of that business. Because if you, let's say you have an Excel sheet, you are using an Excel sheet for managing something for your company on a day-to-day basis, and that thing is taking a long time, or it's a very inefficient process and it's taking a long time, let's say 3-4 hours spent on every single day. That is a valid problem. There you are the decision maker, so you can develop a software that can replace your Excel sheet. That's a very good business to business use case, right? And so you have to think like this: if you switch from Excel to that particular tool, how much will you pay for it, or will you even use the product on a day-to-day basis, and are you willing to pay for it? Maybe you're the manager of a company, and how much are you willing to pay on behalf of the company, right? So if you are solving for a business also, it's better if you know that problem, you have experienced the first-hand challenge behind that problem. That's the best and ideal scenario for building a business. Now the other point which I was talking about were really about the market opportunity behind that problem, and how big of a the pain point it is. Some practical examples of this is really in the consumer product context is companies like Airbnb. Meesho is a very big example. Consumer type product Airbnb, as you know, they were solving for vacation rentals. It's a vacation rental platform, and during the initial days they first-hand experienced the challenge because they were trying to solve for the housing demand issue in a specific region in the US where there were a lot of conferences. A lot of conferences were happening, people were traveling in, and they couldn't find vacation rental, short-term rental apartments. And Airbnb founders really opened up their own house into a short-term rental place, and they offered all the additional services to the guest. So they were really the host, and they first-hand experienced it. And that's the thing that build up their conviction that okay, we have gone through this, we have solved this for a traveler who came to this place. And if this model can be replicated to hundreds of thousands of people by making homes available for short-term rentals, then that would be a big marketplace. So as you can see that they have first-hand experience this problem, and that's the conviction was built on top of their own experience. So you should make sure that you build conviction based on experiences, not assumptions. Because if you build up your if you build up your conviction based on assumptions, that will most likely become invalid very soon when you go to the market. Another example of this in the business context is, for example, Stripe. Stripe is a very good example. So Stripe is a payment solution for small businesses, or businesses of all types now accept payments using Stripe. If you're an online shop, you can accept payments with Stripe. If you're any B2B company and you want to accept payments, you can do it with Stripe. And as you can see, the Stripe founders were seasoned entrepreneurs. They sold their first company after coming to the second idea. But Stripe is a classic example of a B2B company where you have identified a problem on the business side, and it's a big enough problem because there are enough companies out there in the market who would want to accept payments, right? And the Stripe founders also came to this conclusion through their own experience trying to accept payment in their own previous idea. So those are examples of like first-hand challenge, people experiencing their own challenges and identifying the problem and from their own challenges and trying to build business on top. Now another example of solving for someone else is really Meesho. Meesho is a popular reseller platform based in India. You might already know it's an app. Meesho really started as a fashion app, and they were trying to solve for unbranded products in fashion. It's like a marketplace connecting people interested in buying fashion products from local shops. But they quickly identified that people actually don't want to buy products from local shop, but they also prefer going online. On the other side, the sellers also really are not targeting like local people, but they want to go and sell to anyone really online as well. So they quickly realized there's no product market fit, but they found a unique insight. And the unique insight was they had a category of sellers who were really women. So women sellers who were registered on the platform were selling to buyers through WhatsApp, and WhatsApp selling was not that popular back in time. And so their insight there really was that if we could make the selling experience of these sellers who were already registered on their fashion app, and if we can solve it for this one single category of women, then probably the model could be replicated to any reseller. And this is how the idea got pivoted. And as you can see, Meesho founders are men, and so they are not into fashion, right? But the moment they understood that they were solving for someone else, they created a WhatsApp group, and in that WhatsApp group they had all the women sellers, and they had maintained consistent contact with every single woman seller on the platform. You can watch the videos of Meesho and also Stripe and Airbnb online and read about the initial days, how they got the first 10 customers, 20 customers, 30 customers, etc. The last point I want to make is there are two types of businesses you can build. You can solve for normal people, you can solve for companies. There is no right or wrong. All the bigger companies out there are consumer companies, the mass market companies. But over the past like 10-15 years, the software as a service and so SaaS as a business model became more popular, and we started to seeing a lot of B2B, a lot of businesses actually creating software products that solve problems for businesses and enterprises. Consumer products, the dynamics of building a consumer product business is quite different from a B2B business. The reason for that is if you're solving for a normal consumer, then you need a lot more people to validate the problem, whether it is a big enough problem. You need, let's say, 1,000, 10,000 people before taking a decision that okay, this is the right, there's a chance that we could build a business on top of this. But if you are solving for a B2B company or a business, you probably need less number of businesses, and the willingness to pay in that case would be in the range of $1,000. So you can find 10 companies to pay you $1,000 and you have 10K MRR, right? Monthly recurring revenue. In the case of a consumer tech product, you probably need 10,000 people, or like let's say 1,000 people to pay you $10 to get to 10,000, right? So I think this is called ticket size, and the ticket size is quite important when thinking about building up a business, because building any kind of business, whether it is B2B, business to business, or B2C, business to consumer, are equally challenging. It's really up to you to take the path depending on which problem you are actually passionate about solving. If it's a consumer product, you go against consumer product. If it's a B2B product, you go against B2B. But every day morning you wake up and you are extremely passionate to solve this problem. And if that's not true, and you have to really ask to yourself, do you see yourself waking up every day morning and fighting to support people who are struggling with this problem to solve their problem? And if the answer is no, then probably you shouldn't take that route. The second thing is, you should really think that whether this problem you have personally experienced and you really care for solving for the next 5 to 10 years, because a startup life cycle to be successful is like anywhere between 5 to 10 years. So every day starting and waking up and talking to customers who have this problem, and then talking to them in a passionate way is very difficult. So you need to also think about whether you personally see happiness in solving this problem for people or businesses. I think those were the points I wanted to cover in this video. You can also check out the early stage stories of companies like Airbnb, Stripe for B2C. I would also recommend for B2B enterprise, you can read about Surabhi, who is like a popular partner at Y Combinator for health tech companies. She built a device for cancer treatment, cancer detection basically, and it's a very inspiring story. It's called Envision or something, the company. But you can find out a lot of different companies, but you always go back in time and really spend time studying the problem they were solving and what are the parameters they have applied to make it into a successful business over the next 5 to 10 years. So I would say, have a passion for problem, make sure that it's a big enough problem, and yeah, and those are the things that you should probably care about. Thanks a lot. I hope this added value to you. Happy to answer any questions you might have. I'm not an expert in any of this, but I'm just sharing my experience. Bye bye. See you. Bye bye.